Hey there, YouTube viewers and fans of gameplay everywhere. Well, StarCraft 2 anyway. This is your friendly neighborhood Horst here with another replay. It's been a while since I've last done a replay, but you know, school's busy. I'm revisiting a strategy I posted a while ago, the 15 nexus in PVT. I really think it has a lot of merit, and I've been using it a lot more on big maps like Shakura's Plateau and Tal'Darim Altar, which is this map. So we'll go into depth on why I do the things I do with this strategy on this map here. First, you send your little probe to scout around, do some harassment, nothing too serious. You just want to see what the Terran is doing. You want to make sure he's not proxying. You want to make sure he gets a gas. If he doesn't get one of his gases, I would not advise doing this because he might just Marine SCV all in you, which would be very deadly. But as the build implies, you throw down your Nexus at 15 supply. Fortunately, on such a big map like this, there is a good chance he will scout you second or third, which means he might not even see what you're doing for a very long time. My probe is caught in the little corner there. Just go to what I can see only so we can describe that. I see he's getting a gas, and I see he's building a Marine, so my probe's going to hightail it out of there. But I know he's going for some kind of tech build. Possibly he might be going for a 1-Rax Marauder expand. He'd be doing anything, but he's not going to all-in cheese me. At least not Marine SCV all-in cheese me, usually, when you get the gas like that. So I don't have to worry about it too much, so I will be content to build my Nexus. Now here, we missed it, but I throw both of these gates down at 16 supply. Then at 17 I throw down my gas, another pylon. The reason I do this is I can get 2 gates up and running very quickly. They'll finish around the same time as that pylon, so I can start making zealots out. In case he rushes me, I wanted a couple of zealots to buy me time so I can get some stalkers out. I need to have some kind of an early rush defense. This will hold a 3-Rax if you get the stuff out quick enough. Now you should have a pylon planted right around here so that you can see around this Nexus, so he doesn't bunker rush. This is dangerous. What I was doing here, I wasn't putting a vision around this, so he could have been bunker rushing me. But we'll start to make zealots. We should start to make a cyber core right about now. Now he sees what I'm doing. So he can either respond by expanding himself, going for a very fast tech build, banshees, some kind of harass to kill my economy, or he can just all in. Usually they go for expanding because if you're good with this build, you can usually defend most things. Now I opt not to transfer probes over. I opt to just rally both my Nexus to here. The reason I'm doing that is if you look at the probe count here, I have 15, I should have 16, but 16 workers is the optimal on one base for full saturation. So if you have 16 probes on one base, adding more really won't help, so you just rally them over to the other one. If you just move half the probes over and rallied both Nexus to individual patches, you would achieve full saturation at one base a little slower than you normally would, and you would also sacrifice a lot more mining time you could be having like right now, which you really need. So I think it's better just to get the optimal number at one base and rally both to the other Nexus. But I'm going to start chrono boosting the hell out of my warp gates. I have a couple of units there. I'm going to send 1 suicide zealot in once I have 4 zealots out and 2 stalkers, so I can see what the Terran is doing. I see the command sensor. I see he's got a lot of Marines. I see he has a bunker, so I know he's probably gone for a 1-Rax expand. Maybe 2-Rax. Probably 1, though. Probably not Marauders yet. Because he has so many Marines and no Marauders, it means he probably didn't get a tech lab very quickly. It also means that he is not going to have stim as quickly, so I can wait until around... I can assume stim will be done in around 8.5, 9 minutes. So stim timing push won't be too bad. But because he expanded, I'm going to throw down a bunch more gates, and we're going to do some early gateway aggression against a Terran. A lot of times, people are not very aggressive with the early gateway units as Protoss. I think that's a mistake. You can do very powerful builds with gateway units only. So we'll just build a couple of zealots and stalkers here. I'm not really too worried about him attacking. If he does attack, it'll be with a bunch of Marines, and you can hold it off with stalker micro. It's fine. As long as he doesn't have stim and combat shields, you can do a lot of good with that. I do opt to make a round of units out of the regular gateways before warping them into warp gates. This actually gives me 2 production cycles back to back, so I get a slightly quicker production than I normally would. That I need to wait for supply anyway, warping in a bunch more pylons. I like to get all my gases so I can go very sentry heavy. I should be grabbing this gas here as well. But you really need a lot of sentries for doing this push, so you can force field and guardian shield very well. The goal here is not to kill the Terran. The goal is just to poke at him, make him pull SCVs, just to hurt his economy a little bit. As you can see, I'm pulling ahead in supply. I don't know that yet, but that probably means the Terran is teching, which is not a great idea. You don't really want to expand and tech at the same time as Terran. But I'll push out with my little force here. Bring a probe to warp in a proxy pylon. Some more gateways coming down. Still don't have that gas there. I should. Oh well. But the proxy pylon will go down right up here, and we'll push up the ramp. Now, at 9 minutes, he might have stim pack. He might not. If he does have stim pack, what I'm going to do is try to bait him into stimming after me and then run down this ramp. Cut him off with force fields. We'll just focus this down real quick. Use Guardian Shield. See, he pulled the probes, and he stim packs. So we'll just... Well, that's pretty crappy force field, but we'll run away. Force him to waste that stim pack. He doesn't have medevacs out yet, so every time he stims, he weakens the hell out of his army. As long as I can keep running, he will eventually kill himself on stims. So that's not good for him. We'll keep poking in, keep prodding. His army right there could kill me in a straight-up fight, probably, but I'm not going to let him get to that. Make him keep pulling SCVs. They're not mining. That's great. You just want to harass him here. And while we're doing this, we do want to take a third base. You can see I'm making one over here. But really, you got to be on the ball with this. You can't let your forces die to those Marines. See, I forced them to stim twice with those guys already. They are pretty weak. Right now, I can probably just mow through them without much difficulty. So we'll try to do that. He has a bunch of SCVs he's pulled. I'm doing a lot of damage to his SCVs right now, even if I'm not really killing his units. So I'm pretty content that I just killed a lot of his workers. These guys are all pretty weak. Stalkers aren't the best, but when you have such an army advantage, I think I can do some good damage there and win this fight. I did manage to lose a couple more units than I should have before retreating, but I'm warping in reinforcements. And we'll keep poking and prodding. We have to stop, like, right about now, though. This is probably my last poke, because once he has medevacs out, there's really very little you can do with pure stalkers like that. Medevacs, stim, you just want to back away from that. But the third base is almost done by the time this is done. And, of course, I have been teching the Colossus while this was going on. Now, this base's saturation is pretty good, so you want to transfer over most of these probes. So you have 16 left on there, only 16 left. Transfer all the extra ones over to this new nexus, and then rally all your nexus to this patch. That's what I should be doing the second I realize this base is finished. And there go some probes. So, yeah, pretty optimal saturation. Very good. Getting Colossus out. I have plenty of warp gates, and now I'm going for dual forges as well. I'm on 3 bases, the Terran is on 2 bases. He's probably not thinking about taking a third. To check income, I am crushing him in the economy because I did kill a good 10, 12 SCVs with that attack. We checked the SCVs killed, 11 SCVs killed. That's really good. Of course, he's still matching me almost in minerals because he has mules, but I am way out mining him in gas, and my economy is sustainable. His is just based on him hitting mule timings, and a lot of Terrans can't do that. But I'm mining like a beast here, so everything is good. Supply is good, tech is good. And we're going to start chrono boosting the hell out of my dual forges soon to get those upgrades as soon as possible. You want to really hit those timings so you can get like a 2-2 timing push at around 16, 17 minutes in. Follow this early aggression up. You don't want to give the Terran too much breathing room. Now you can see I have all my stalkers here, because the most obvious thing he's going to do at this point is try to drop, which he is. He had drop ships. He's obviously going to try to use them. So I have to be a pretty big fool to not expect that. Send a couple of zealots to go kill these rocks. Let's keep the army relatively spread out. I have a pylon here, so if he does move out, I'll be able to see him with his army moving out, so I'm not really too worried about spreading my army around the map. As long as I have enough in one place to take on 2 dropships worth of stuff, I'm not really worried. The one part that I am worried about a little bit is this. I should have this better defended, but because his dropships would not really come... He'd have to go all the way around here to get to that area. Normally he'd drop here or here. So this is not really too at risk, but it's still a little bit riskier than I would have liked. Just, again, keep using Chrono Boost on everything you can. You want to Chrono Boost Colossus, Chrono Boost out upgrades, Chrono Boost out more upgrades, and around this time you want to start your Twilight Council so you can get +2 and charge and blink as well. And now is also a great time to get a 4th base. You want to be very aggressive with these expansions. You want to make sure that You expand all over the map. You really do. You won't play this like a Zerg player basically would. The whole map is yours, and to hell with the Terran. But now he has moved out, so I'm a little bit worried. So I'm going to need to start consolidating my army, or at least keeping tabs of where his army is. That's why I'm sending the Zealot out over here. I want to make sure if I see him coming towards me, I can regroup my army as one solid ball. I still want to leave a couple of stalkers in my base. Well, I should. Actually, I remember the reason I'm doing this is, if I have a vision of this entire area, and I have vision of here and vision of here, he really can't drop my main unless I see him coming through one of my other parts. So as long as I'm positioned here, he really can't drop me too easily. If we check the production tab, we can see that I am getting charge first. I know he's going Marine Marauder. Charge is really good against that, so we'll be prepared to deal with them. Again, keep chrono boosting. You can see I'm being somewhat diligent, although I have a full nexus here. I'm taking a 5th base as well. I really don't expect him to actually scout here. He most likely would scout these bases first and just ignore up here. A lot of players do not scout the further bases. Hell, a ninja expansion over here actually would be a decent enough idea. You can see at this point, 16 minutes into the game, I have 1-1 upgrades, closing on 2-2. And once that 2-2 finishes, I'm going to try to do some kind of timing push and just kill him. Now I want to make sure I have vision of everywhere he could possibly move out. I do not want this army getting past me. So I send a pro over here. So I have really good vision of these towers. And if you notice, by 17 minutes into the game, I am maxed out on 5 bases. That is really good. This 15 Nexus build allows you to really hit your macro, like, really hard, as long as you pay attention and keep making probes the whole time. I have 84 probes now. That's probably all I'm ever going to want to make. I'm fully saturated all of my bases. This other base here, I really just made it so that if I lose a nexus, I can just transfer all the workers over. But now that 2-2 is about to complete, we're getting into position to attack.
Research complete.
I should probably wait for it. And there's a couple of Vikings there doing some damage, not too much. Armor finishes. I pull the stalkers back so the zealots can go up front. He EMPs the zealots, doesn't really do too much good against it, but of course you just melt through the Terran army at this point. And because I have a proxy pylon up here, we're bringing reinforcement zealots, 11 at a time from all of my gateways, and just melting through his army. Easy peasy. Poor guy. He was still on 2 bases for most of this game, while I'm on 5. However, if you are really diligent with your macro as a Protoss player, you can really just crush through Terrans. I mean, at no point in this game was I overwhelmingly vulnerable to a Terran attack. Early on, sure, you may look vulnerable, but because you have the 2 fast gateways with a fast cyber core, relatively fast cyber core out, with Chrono Boost you can pretty much make up for that production. And if you really see him like hard all-inning you, throw down a couple more gateways, maybe a forge, you have the economy to support it off 2 bases that quick. So there's a lot of defensive options you can do. You just have to be very wary that he doesn't go for a Banshee rush. If he does, if you don't see him expanding with that first Zealot, throw down a robotics facility immediately, because you need to be able to detect that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this replay. I thought it was pretty cool, and I hope to see more people using this strategy on the ladder. Good luck with it, guys.